Old people in Canada are floating an idea that we should bring back conscription for young people to be their servants.
Literally.
That's literally the type of idea they're floating here.
By the way, if you conscript Canadian young people to be the elderly servant, you thought Trinidadians were hitting you? Let's do karaoke for homeless guys at the homeless people bar, right beside like a recovery clinic.
Yeah.
But all that to say, there's a Cold War in the lobby of my apartment. And so so that when the Indian lady's not there, it's like old guys, like boomer lib guys who all like have coffee in there.
Yeah.
And I overheard them the other day. I came home and they were having coffee. I was leaving for work and they were all sitting around and they were like, well, you know, Trump, he made all his money off crypto. And I was like, man, like what?
I can actually relate because I'm actually pleased to announce that today, for the first time, literally since I invested, I'm up. I'm up 0.18%,
That's
baby.
how you do it. That's how you got to play the long game.
Basically, because Bitcoin has popped the fuck off over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
It's gone up like 25% in 2 weeks.
So how are you only up 0.18?
Because I lost a lot of money on the stocks.
I see. Okay. So you should move it all to Bitcoin.
I should have.
Yeah. Do it now.
Yeah. Well, if I sell my stocks, I'll lose money.
So just wait.
But so you got a bunch of... I've honestly been seething a bit about boomers this week prior to having to talk to two separate weed boomers.
They're insufferable.
Because like there's been some discussion this week in Canadian politics this week.
Yeah.
Because like our new federal government has kind of been being like, well, we can't lower house prices.
How are we even supposed to do that?
But there's a reason for that, though. Because their voting base is now old people.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple like instances of like on Twitter of people kind of replying to these stories. And there was one in particular where it was just going to make me a fucking communist. Like some old guy, because like people were being like, what the fuck? I thought you were going to make housing cheaper.
Fell for it again award.
And they like specifically said like, well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And there was a guy being like, everyone's getting all mad at boomers. But, well, me and my wife, we put in sweat equity. So now we have 5 homes. And what, are you going to blame us for that? Are you going to like depreciate our assets when we need them most?
Yeah, we're killing you.
It's like, yeah, man, we're shooting you out of a trebuchet.
We're hitting you with a truck, dude. Like, we're killing you.
Like, fucking guy being like, we're going to sweat. The term sweat equity.
Yeah, I'm putting in sweat equity, building a huge cannon to shoot you into Malaysia.
Because it's like now, if you're, not like 75, your sweat equity gets you an apartment where Somalian people have weddings in your house. Where you get Somalian guys knocking on your door to ask to use your bathroom because they're having a wedding next door. That's what sweat equity gets you these days.
Nuke, dude. Yeah.
And like, it was really like I started hearing the Soviet national anthem reading this.
Started hearing like Randy Orton voices in your head, ready to kill.
We're firing you out of a cannon, dude.
We're going to kill you, my man.
You could have one house.
Look at me, my man. Hey, good work out there. Look at me in the eyes, dude. We're killing you.
We're gonna kill you, bro.
We're killing you, dog.
I saw a few. There was that one really jumped out because the dude used the term sweat equity.
Yeah,
and
which
then,
is
like,
what? Working a 9-to-5 that
just
pays
having
you
a normal job.
Yeah,
and yet being able to afford 5 fucking houses. And it was at like the end of his big screed about like, and interest rates were really high on my $60,000 house, and now everyone's being mean to me. And then like right at the end, he kind of dropped in that they have 5 houses.
Yeah, we're killing you.
We're gonna have to kill you.
We have to kill. It brings me no pleasure. We have to kill you.
There's really no option other than killing you.
What else do you want me to do? My hands are tied here, buddy. I'm over here looking at you, enemy number 1, and we're making eye contact through a sea of Indians.
Yeah,
and I'm picking you out as enemy primo uno that we have to kill.
But that doesn't make sense because that's who the like liberals voting bloc is at this point.
Yeah.
Is old people.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like a vested interest in like what has happened over the last decade.
Yes.
So like infinity immigration plus not building homes is good for you if you already have a house.
Yeah.
Because it takes your $60,000 investment 30 years ago and makes it $2 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like they're not going to lower they can't.
No.
That's not in their like political interests.
No, it would be like a huge fumble to do that.
Yeah.
Although like it's just such a risk to try to win back people who they've like disenfranchised for the last decade.
Well, that's how in a few years we'll get permanent turbo gamer fascism forever. It'll make its way up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we'll be Giblifying people.
Yeah, we'll be deporting old people to hell. You're getting deported to hell.
They'll be going to a camp on Baffin Island.
We should build an island for old. What we should do, what every country should pitch in for, is build like Wakanda for old people.
Yeah, can be called Margaritaville.
Yes. Yes.
Margaritaville, comma El Salvador.
Yeah. And we'll market it as like a beautiful vacation timeshare. It's a timeshare where you never have to leave.
You won't believe the price on the cruise there.
And
fully funded
by every country in the world because you're such a fucking issue. Except for Japan. I just read a thing in Japan where apparently after Fukushima, like that big nuclear meltdown,
yeah,
old people were volunteering to go help clean up nuclear wreckage because they're like, I'm old already. I can go get irradiated. Why would we make young people do this? Like if they get irradiated when they're young, they're going to be fucked up forever.
God, they're so advanced over there.
I remember reading that and really it set my heart ablaze. Like hate it because old people now would never.
Old people in Canada are floating an idea that we should bring back conscription for young people to be their servants.
Literally.
That's literally
the
type of idea they're floating here.
By the way, if you conscript Canadian young people to be the elderly servant, you thought Trinidadians were hitting you? Dude, just wait.
Yeah.
You thought that big Trinidadian
Your
lady
diaper's not getting changed, bitch. I'm looking at my phone.
I'm on my phone, and when your little nanny cam battery dies, I'm beating the fuck out of you, dude. I'm putting you through that little gurney. Right? I'm going to attitude adjustment you through that gurney, dude. You're getting the shit kicked out of you, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's such a it would be whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what would happen.
Yeah. You've never seen a white boy say "not my problems."
Dude, as soon as day one, if I had to work in an old folks home, I would never.
If you got conscripted to work into an old folks home,
first of all, I would instantly forget how brakes on wheelchairs work.
Yeah.
So anytime I left you, there's no brakes. I'm bringing homeless guys into the old folks home. Yeah. Do whatever you want. I'll bring like 9 homeless guys in a day. Be like, whatever, go do whatever you want in here.
I'll be back in 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat like cereal in the back.
I'm gonna go look at my phone.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone. I'm hungry. Oh, so am I. I'm hungry too. Because groceries, it cost me $80 to get bread, sandwich meat, and cheese.
Yeah.
I'm hungry too, Grandma. So am
also
I.
Hungry.
I've been hungry for years, Grandma. I'm so hungry.
Hungry for revenge.
Hungry for this. Yeah, hit the Randy Orton pose and then RKO a grandma through their little coffee table. Oh my God!
Good night, Janet.
Hitting her with like a tombstone pile driver, like Undertaker, we're like standing 69ing, and I drop her on her head.
Yeah. But damn, Japanese old people.
Yeah, I read about that after Fukushima, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, obviously, if you're elderly and like there's a nuclear issue, why would you make young people clean it up?
Yeah.
It wasn't their idea, and they stand to lose so much more.
Like life years.
Yeah. If you're already old, you should be. There's so much shit we should be using the elderly for because you're already old.
Well, I think this
we should be using the elderly to test like acid.
I feel like during the sea times, the unmentionable word.
Yeah.
It really became apparent that our society is like built around essentially sacrificing young people for the benefit of the elderly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's like
that was when it like really became apparent.
Yeah.
But now it's just like kind of looking. That's just like
That's what it is.
that's how it's set up.
Yeah, and like the term like respect your elders was invented by old people.
Yeah,
And like if you talk to old people, 19 out of 20 of them are fucking retarded. Like actually so stupid it's fucking crazy. It's crazy how fucking stupid most, like 1 out of 20 old people is like cool and smart.
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's like rare to encounter an old guy who's like funny, cool, and smart. Most of them are the dumbest fucking people you've ever met.
These weed boomers I was talking to today, were fucking retarded. Like if I talk to a young person who was as out to lunch as these guys, I'd be like, do you need help getting to your special bus, buddy? But these guys,
how'd you get here,
and
man?
I can like, maybe these guys have a job. I have a feeling that these guys would not be able to flip a fucking burger.
No.
But they probably are rich,
they can't
rich as fuck and don't have to.
These people don't even know what caps lock is.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, how was grandma expected to learn computer? Like, they're so new. It's like, first of all, motherfucker, they've been around 20 years. Grandma's had 20 years to figure out computer.
More like fucking 35.
35. Grandma lived with a computer for 30 fucking years. She's had a computer longer than you have.
But you know how sometimes you interact with somebody and it's like, how could you have any job?
Yeah.
That's like these guys. It's like, how could you do
that's the whole thing. It's like falling upward. That's the boomer trajectory. Is like kind of stumbling your way up.
It's really hard not to... Maybe it's just like our frame of reference, and like the Canadian boomer is a specifically like noxious breed. That's possible.
I think they're pretty bad because they're pretty spoiled.
Maybe there's better ones out there.
I think there are.
But
like I feel like other countries,
the Canadian boomer fucking stinks.
Well, I think a lot of other countries, the like cultural norm is like when you're old, you kind of just remove yourself.
Yeah.
Or you go live with your children and become like a huge burden for years.
Or
but
you live with your children and like cook or something.
You cook, or if you're my elementary school Chinese friends' grandparents, you just never move in a recliner in the basement watching Chinese TV, which is swag, whatever.
But the Canadian boomer, it's like we need to send the young people into like the mines.
I think it comes from like our
with what I see on TV.
Yeah.
It's like I'm so mad about what I see on TV.
Yeah, the TV that's like specifically written for me.
Yeah.
My custom news TV.
Yeah.
But like I think also what it is like I think a lot of the boomer now like feels kind of I think they're all fucked up because they kind of like they did the whole like, well, yeah, if you give us they fell for the social contract of like, yeah, push everything you've ever wanted down the river 60 years. And then when you retire, you can do all that. And then they did that, and they have nothing, and like their kids probably hate them, or like their kids are like they never figured out who they were. They never got in touch with like what's in here.
Well, because at this stage, like our old people are kind of they're all like boomers, right?
Yeah,
and like boomers in the kind of like the literal sense of like the post-war baby boom.
Yeah,
because like I think like the so-called like greatest generation is pretty much all gone at this point.
Or they're like vegetables.
They're like 105 or some shit like that.
They're still calling the big Trinidadian a slur. They're like a 105-year-old worm in a bed in a hospital going, if you act like one, I'll call you one.
My aunt had a friend who was, I think this lady's actually still alive. She's at least 105 at this point.
Holy fuck.
And like I met her a couple of years ago, and she's actually cool as
well, those people had it
She's
tough.
like a Saskatchewan farm girl.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Who's like 105, still walks around, has like a Filipino nurse. It's like, she was actually fucking swag.
Yeah, because that generation had like nothing.
But like the boomers, I think it's just that like the idealized version of an old person is sort of like, the Italian Nona who's like, she keepeth the recipe alive. And like they're sort of like holding on to some degree of culture that they can pass down.
Yeah.
But like the Canadian boomer, like they shed all of the culture in like the sort of cultural revolution of the 60s. So all they really have to pass down now is like, you remember the Beatles?
Yeah. Oh my God. Music today sucks. And it's like, dude, the Beatles are fucking horrible.
Back when I was a kid, we actually listened to the Beatles and smoked weed.
Yeah.
And like that's all they have to hold on
that
to.
works when you're like 16. When you hear that, you're like, oh, cool.
That's so swag.
And then you turn 18 and you listen to a Beatles song and you go, this is the gayest shit I've ever heard in my life.
So it's like they don't have anything good to pass on.
No. They don't even have like wisdom.
Yeah.
They have no wisdom. Because like, I've never, and I love my grandpa.
I mean, I actually have a good. I like my parents a lot. They're boomers, but like I have a good relationship with them. It's cool. I'm not talking about them.
No, I like my grandpa and grandma are smart people.
Yeah,
they're
and
cool.
this isn't like everyone.
No,
it's just like a broad trend.
But that also being said, like even my grandpa, who I like and respect, and I love him, gives fucking terrible advice. He gives fucking horrible advice. He'll tell me something, and I'm like, I can't do that, man. Like, what are you saying? Like, dude, I love you, but like, what are you saying? You know? It's like you work for like a faceless corporation. He's like, have you talked to your boss? It's like, no, I've talked to some like sub boss who hasn't even met her number or like step one up boss. Like,
I don't know who my boss is.
No one has a boss with a face. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I work for a computer.
Yeah. I work for an AI based out of Israel. Like, what are we saying here? I say that, and he's like, what?
Well, I mean, and like getting out of touch as you get older is fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like for a lot of boomers, and like today I'm steamed because I had to talk to these two like head ass fuckheads, motherfuckers.
Head ass fuckheads.
Yeah, and like, but it's just these guys have nothing of value to pass on.
No, and those guys never did, by the way.
Yeah, it's
a lot of old people.
Spirit of the '60s bullshit. Probably if I kept talking to them, they would have brought up fucking Richard Nixon or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like, you know, like
guys like that though, they've never had anything cool to. There's like, I think less than 1% of all people in that age bracket are like have anything cool or interesting to say, and most of them have absolutely nothing in their heads.
Yeah. I mean, we rag on like Zoomers and stuff because you know
they're not better.
I mean, you get those Zoomers who like can't even talk, but like, I would rather one of those kids who like can't really talk and like has to go ask his mom to like come and interact with you or whatever.
Yeah,
I would kind of rather that than the 65-year-old guy who prattles on about how he hoped Trump gets shot.
Yeah, you should do it then, Jerry.
Yeah, go do it.
Go kill him then. Or then shut the fuck up, dude.
You're fine.
You're good, dude. You've never been more fine.
You have 5 fucking houses. Because you used to sweep up at the movie theater. You have 5 fucking houses.
You swept at the movie theater and he offered you to buy it. Now you own Cineplex, you piece of shit. Yeah. Or it's like, oh, you were like in a town of 200 people and you were the first guy to think to make like Chinese food. Now you're like a trillionaire. Like,
yeah, or like, you know, your family had a plot of fucking farmland in the middle of nowhere and the city expanded and you sold it for $20 million.
Yeah. Or a developer bought it and built my apartment that is now for Haitians.
Yeah.
So whatever.
It's rough up here.
We're killing the old people.
And they're gonna bring back the fucking Harms Act too.
Yeah. Good. But like we're not Canadian, so that's fine.
Yeah. It's a good thing we're podcasting out of Bermuda.
Yeah. We're podcasting from Trinidad.
Although we do need you to donate to the Chrome Boys bail fund.
Yeah, but we're not based out of Canada, so that's fine.
Yeah, so it actually doesn't really affect us.
Well, how would they prove that?
How would they prove that?
If the Online Harms Act were to, could we just be like, yeah, we don't do this in Canada?
I think they could.
Because we're citizens? Hypothetically?
Maybe I won't say live, but I'm pretty sure they could trace it back to me at least.
I guess probably.
It would depend how much they wanted to, though.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our government is evil, but also incompetent.
Yes.
That's kind of the saving grace is that
it's very like Dr. Evil.
That they're a bunch of fucking retards who can't do anything.
Yeah, whose nature forces them to hire like 600 people to do one guy's job.
Yeah, so it's like our government, I think the way it operates is it's a bunch of nincompoops who will have like an infinite number of meetings to like change a fucking logo.
Yeah.
So it's like they're probably not actually like competent enough to make us like libtard North Korea as much as they'd like to.
There's way too many parks they have to rename.
Yeah. And they have to have 1,000 meetings to rename a park.
Yeah, so we're good.
To name the square in Toronto Abubo Mafufe Square.
Matahika Ganwe. What is that?
They literally did that.
Yeah, they named it Matahika Ganwe.
It was some Abubo Mafufe ass African name. Who the fuck is that? To change our money to some black lady literally no one's ever heard of. They probably had 10,000 meetings about that.
The Canadian government has to have 600 meetings to put Oprah on our money. This is the 50th meeting about putting Oprah. We have to put Oprah on the
money. Yeah. Real truth nuke.
I guess that's so. We have to put Oprah on the money.
Yeah, on every bill.
We're replacing the Queen with Oprah.
They took John A. MacDonald out to replace her with Oprah.
Canada should have Oprah on the money.
They might as well at this point. Fuck it.
That'd be so cool if we had Oprah. Oh, okay.
I literally don't actually know the name of the chick on the 10.
No. Well, it's every old person's new nurse.
Yeah.
Who hits them.
Yeah.
What do you want now?
What you want now?
You got to check the way outside.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on the bright side, all these people will be getting smacked upside their head pretty soon.
They will be going hungry pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, guys.
Well,
damn. Got to put Oprah on the money.
Oprah on the money.
We got Oprah on the money. Okay, thanks
all
for
right,
joining
lads.
us.
Thanks for joining us.
See you on the Patreon.
Hop over to the Patreon.
Sorry, this was a bit of a seethoid ep. But I think it was funny. It happens.
It happens.
We're putting Oprah on the money.
You're putting Oprah on the money.
Oprah on the money. All right, later, fellas. Have a good week.